Young B on the beat, bitch.
What's going on, guys? B.Smith here, coming at you again with another MPC tutorial, showing you guys how to use key grouping and how basically just focusing on that whole section of key grouping and how to effectively lay down an 808, specifically for more like 808 type stuff, laying those across some keys, and really any other samples that you guys would want to do that. So key grouping is going to show you guys how to do that, and yeah, let's get into it. So real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and load in some 808s that I have ready. You're gonna want to find, so you're gonna need something to start with. So you're gonna need a basis. So find your 808. A lot of times when they make 808s for you, especially when you buy them from packs and stuff, they're usually like in the key of C, like the root note. That 808 is usually in C, so that you can lay it across the keyboard like this. But I'm gonna load in just this one 808 just to kind of show you guys. Alright, so when we're loading in, you'll probably, by the time you're loading an 808, you probably already have an idea of what the song's gonna be or the beat's gonna be, and you're probably gonna have your tempo and everything set out. So for just purposes for this video, I'm just gonna leave it at 120 and all that, so just kind of ignore that. Set out your bars and stuff. So we're gonna kind of treat this as if we were already at that step. So alright, so going into key grouping, the first thing is especially when you're laying out 808s, you're gonna want to have your track type on key group. That's where you want to start there. You can use the program edit and stuff like that in a program, but we're gonna want to do it in key group. So make sure you're clicked on that right there. And then we're going to click over from home to here, right? Pretty simple. I know it looks like a lot here, but first things first, whatever 808 you have loaded in already, you're going to want to click on that and load that into your sample layers area here. So you can layer multiple samples to get to kind of experiment and get different sounds, but that's what we want to do. We want to load that in. So we got that one clicked on. Now, very important here, guys, too. This stuff is really dope. You can tune it by semi-notes, or you can fine-tune it, or you can also change your level here. So if your 808 just the sample kind of hits a little bit too loud, I recommend bringing that back a little bit, throwing that at 100, because a lot of times what you're gonna do is you're gonna lay down an 808, and you're gonna have to go through and mess with the velocity because maybe the sample was kind of produced a little bit too loud or whatever. But last thing you want is a peaking 808, right? A lot to look at here. Like I was saying, velocity here, you can also just mess with this right here instead of messing with this level. So you can kind of bring that down. That's kind of dope, right? Unless you have a velocity sensitive keyboard, that's what I'm working with, so that's nice too. And then our filter type over here. So you guys can go into low pass types, high pass, band pass, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff to mess around with in here. Typically I don't mess with a lot. I mean, I might throw a low pass on there to cut out some of those highs in my 808 or whatever, but not a lot. And then you can cut it off right here with this knob. So that's taking it, and that's your highs, and this is your lows, right? So you're kind of cutting off those high ends in your 808 there to, keep all that low end. Yeah, and then some filter envelope type stuff. You can really go in and start messing with all this and experimenting. This is all experimenting, you know what I mean? Working on your attack release on your filter envelope or your amp envelope or something like that. So that's really all experimental, guys. So when you're just laying out 808s, for me specifically, for a lot of you beat makers, you don't need to go into depth on all that. I mean, it's fun to, but yeah, that's kind of just for like an experimental thing, right? So let's go ahead and lay down an 808 pattern real quick. So I'm gonna hit record, play start, and I'm just gonna play something on my keyboard. All right, so something really simple just for you guys to hear that. And I want to go into a little bit on how I would do this. So they're all kind of scattered out. It's gonna quantize it to whatever your time correct is up there. So I usually sit here and I kind of just tweak them a little bit just to do them how I would, you know what I mean? Just to kind of make them all even and accurate. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Takes you a quick second, nothing long. I mean, easy stuff. That's kind of it. I mean, honestly, that's kind of like laying out your 808s. If you guys are interested in doing like 808 slides, like kind of like that drill type stuff, what you can do is you can go down here to the bottom left corner of your interface here, and you can click on this little button down here. And what I recommend doing is going to Keygroup, Mixer, or my bad, Parameters. Mixer is if you want to do like level pan, stuff like that. This is automating, guys. That's what this is, automating. And you're going to go Parameters, and you're going to go up to Tuning. Okay? And so what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to tune our 808 live and automate it, right? So I typically would go to 64 time correct because it's actually it's what's going to allow you to do more accurate or kind of like intricate time editing with your 808 or with whatever you got here. So if we wanted this one to slide here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click down here and I'm going to automate this and I'm going to bring it back. Right, so let's listen to that. Right? It's pretty dope. We could even throw one in. You guys get, and really this is where it just comes down to, once you know how to do that, it just comes down to getting creative and getting experimental with it, you know what I mean? It just becomes fun at that point, you feel me? So yeah, that's kind of it. Let's hear this though. Let's just mess around real quick. See, that's kind of hard. So that's how you do 808 slides. You can also bring it down to go lower, if that's the kind of sound you're looking for. So that's kind of hard, yeah. And that tuning is always going to be down here. It's going to be right here next to your velocity and your modifier, which are always going to be there when you go into Keygroup. So it's going to be down here, so you can come back and edit it. The only thing that's different about this, and it's kind of weird about it, is once I add out to 16 bars, let's say I go out to 16 bars, I'm going to go out to that far, and I'm going to move this over. I'm going to probably try to copy my 808, so I'll show you real quick, actually. I'm going to move that to, oh shit. I'm going to move that to 8 count so that I can grab it more easily, grab my tool here, and I'm just going to hold Alt as I bring this over. And going back to my tuning, it doesn't copy the tune over. That's the only thing. So usually when I bounce out, I can copy it over a little more easy and quickly, but it's what it is. You can record it twice. Is what it is. That's kind of the only downside to it, but it sounds really good and makes a very, very clean sliding sound. So yeah, that's kind of going through 808s, guys. There's a lot you can do. Really, the main thing is just getting it across keys so you can do different notes and stuff like that. And make sure, please make sure that you guys keep your 808s in the key of the song. So right now I'm working in C major. I don't have a sample. I don't have any instruments or instrumentation. I don't have anything else, but I was just going based off of C major right there. So you don't want those 808s to not hit right. You don't want those 808s to hit off key. It might sound good right here, but then you're like, elsewhere on other stereo systems, you're going to hear that and people hear that. So yeah, so that kind of wraps up program editing. Yeah, I don't really know what else there is to touch on in here. That's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So that's that, guys. Next video, I'm going to be going in on sample editing and showing you guys how I do all that and really getting into depth on that and chopping samples up and stuff like that. Yeah. So Like the video if you liked it. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to know about MPC. I can go into more depth on whatever you guys want. Subscribe. So there's going to be beats posted on my channel, tutorials, a bunch of other stuff, music videos, songs that we've been making, all types of stuff, big things in the works right now. So I appreciate y'all and have a good night.
Young B on the beat.